Okay, so welcome everybody to Cosmic Conversations. My name is Hayden Crawford and I'm a wellness coach and spiritual teacher specializing in colour therapy and numerology. Today I'm welcoming back for the third time Pia Orleane and Cullen Baird, and these two are part of the Larkmar group, which is a group of six of one and one of six from the Pleiades. And Cullen and Pia are both very reputable in their own rights, actually. So Pia's an author and intuitive, and she's a world-leading expert on the divine feminine. She's an award winner and former practicing psychologist, and she combines science and ancient wisdom together. Cullen is an empathic intuitive and visionary, and he has some extraordinary healing abilities. And over the past few years, actually, they have written many, many books on various different subjects, all with very cosmic feel, and more recently have developed their Pleiadian oracle deck, which looks absolutely beautiful and amazing. I can't wait to find out more about that. But first of all, welcome you two. How are you both feeling? And long time no see. What's been happening since we last spoke?
Everything's moving at an accelerated pace, and I think we're in a whirlwind of change. And it's nice to be back with you again, Hayden.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting us back for another conversation. We love speaking and sharing with you because it's always a very organic, it's always a very provocative and really quite deep conversations that we share together. So we're happy to be here with you again.
Wonderful. That's so nice. It's so nice to see you. So I guess, but maybe we should start off by it's quite a special time that we've chosen to get together, isn't it? If we think about what's just about to take place, you know, we've got this total solar eclipse happening on the 20th of April. And of course, you know, as I've just read actually on your website that it's a North Node total eclipse, which brings in all of this fresh new energy to the Earth. And because it's in, like, we've also got a new moon in Aries, it's about new beginnings. So I'm kind of feeling this already, but could you elaborate a little bit more about the significance from the Pleiadian perspective on this total solar eclipse?
Well, the Pleiadians feel that we are in a trajectory for possibilities with all kinds of new energies coming in. If we open our hearts, if we drop our belief systems, and we are able to receive the new perspectives as the light pours into us, and we can make changes in everything that is out of balance. So eclipses are generally a time to go inward and to reevaluate, and a solar eclipse brings in light from the sun with a temporary darkening so that we can take that light inwards and figure out what we need to do with all the newness that is coming in. So it's a time of potential powerful action.
It's going to be an amazing time. We've been under the influence of the patriarchal, controlling, absolutely old regime of really not allowing people to be who they truly are. We've been under a spell, so to speak, of not really being able to use our gifts and talents as freely as we thought we would be able to by coming here at this auspicious time that we all agreed to be here to make a difference and to really create a different world. So the astrological, I don't know how to say this to make really good sense of what I have in my heart. I'll try to explain what I'm trying to get across. I think the changes that astrology is bringing us at this point is going to be such a game changer. It's going to be such an opening. It's going to be such a lifting of the veil of control that many of us, and hopefully all of us, will simply have the ability to create what we really wish to create, to really formulate a much higher vibration, a much more synchronous, a much more unified world that we've been trying to create for so long. that just hasn't been possible because the energies have not been that either forthcoming or as enveloping as they're going to be now in a much more heart-centered way.
And also it requires our stepping out from under the belief system, the illusion, the spell that has been cast over us. One thing that we know from the Pleiadian perspective is that Western astrology is falsely linked to the Gregorian system of 12 hours in a day, 12 months in a year. None of that is in accordance with nature. The moon cycles around 13 times in a year, not 12. We have leap years because they can't balance out the fact that we have more time than 12 months in every year, and they have to make up for it. Western astrology is based on units of 12. Pleiadian Earth energy astrology is based on the real energy of integrating all aspects, the energy of 13. So there are 13 cosmic energies that we have the potential to align with if we just return to our natural connections and our cosmic perspectives. So part of what we're doing now with these new energies coming in is accepting the gifts Western astrology has given us, like understanding Pluto is moving into Aquarius. Yay, that's a big thing, getting away from Capricorn. We have a preview of it from now till June the 11th. That's a good thing. But still, we need to loosen up on the boundaries of feeling that everything ends at 12 and starts again, because that's not in harmony with nature. The Pleiadian view is go through the 12 and integrate at 13, then start again. And that's where we are right now. We have all these points converging of new starts. So we're in a place of great potential.
Yeah, because I also read on your website that, you know, there's 13 days of remembering that's taking place over this period as well. So could you elaborate a little bit more about how that is significant?
There are 20 earth energies that we are here to explore and expand on. And in duality, each one has a higher vibration and a lower vibration. In the back of our Pleiadian earth energy calendar, we explain what the high and low vibrations are and how to align with each. It's more than a calendar. It's a little primer, a guidebook on how to use these energies. Therefore, the calendar never expires. But anyway, in the back of that, it explains that right now we're starting a 13-day period of remembering energy. And the highest potential of use for that energy is to go into our hearts, disregard everything we've been taught or previous experience, and be open to remembering the truth of who we really are. Very, very peaceful, potent place to be. It's my favorite of all of the energies that we can enter into. So we've got this amazing 13-day period, right in harmony with the eclipse, the new moon that starts today, Aries energy of spring and the beginning of the new spring year, everything coming together at once.
So that, thank you, Pia. That actually was what I was trying to say when I was trying to formulate how the energies are so different right now. We're at the point of actually exploring a completely new world, a completely new energetic way of dealing with our lives, dealing with the planet, dealing with the cosmos. We're now in a position to really open who we truly are. And Pia very, very succinctly and very accurately just explained that.
One of the things that I do in my astrological work is when people choose to have a Pleiadian Earth energy astrological chart or report done, I align them, I show them how they are aligned with the energy they came here to explore and the energy they brought with them from the cosmos, so they can see what their karmic patterns are, what they're releasing and breaking through, what their mission is, and what they're supposed to be accomplishing. So the combination of having a personal chart and our calendar to guide you really helps people open up to their potential and moving out of the old stuck place that so many of us are tired of.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, that's a really good point. I think that, you know, many of us are just over the old system now, and everybody is almost, you know, waiting for, you know, this new earth to begin. But what I always say to them is that the new earth is already here. We just have to align with it, so it's not like a destination that we end up in the future. It's something that we can very in a very real sense vibrationally align with right now if we are sensitive to the energies and connecting to the oversoul. So one of the things you just mentioned there was that that there is this Pluto going into Aquarius, and of course what that means for us is that there's going to be huge advancements in technology. So I know that we part of the Pleiadian perspective is a moving away, hopefully, from patriarchal technology. But is this the advancements in technology that we expect to see within this period of Pluto being in Aquarius, or is this more geared around progression of artificial intelligence and more time spent on social media platforms like TikTok, for example?
Well, let me just say one thing, and
Sure.
then Cullen, I know you have a lot to say. The one thing that I want to point out is that the Pleiadians laugh at our technology. They say it's very archaic and we have a very limited view of what technology really is. Just for example, people are out scanning the skies every night looking for a metal craft. They want to see something that looks like an airplane shaped in a disc. Interstellar beings don't travel in the same physical appliances that we do. They travel in light ships. It's light that we perceive as there's a ship, but it's light and the shape that we can recognize. That's an example of the difference between our technology, which is so limited, and interstellar or cosmic technology. Your turn.
Well, I laughed because Pia took the words exactly out of my mind or my mouth that I was going to say. Our Pleiadian friends really do laugh at the notion that we believe we have such cutting edge science and such cutting edge technology, when from a cosmic perspective, we're simply little children just experimenting with these new ideas that we think are earth-shatteringly sophisticated. So we have a lot to learn. And what you said a moment ago about Pluto moving from Capricorn to Aquarius, that will allow us to change our perspective of how we develop new technologies that are more sophisticated, that are more heart generated, not mind generated. And that is what is going to make the difference. We need to put heart into science. And when we put heart into science, we will have a completely different technological outlook.
Well said, Cullen, well said. And one thing that I will add to that is there is a real danger in holding on to our perceptions that what we have now should be advanced on, because we need a whole new heart-based technology, not things that are coming from the mind. That's where the danger is.
We're doing things. I guess the best way I can explain this is we're actually replicating some of the mistakes that we did in Atlantis so long ago. We are actually scientifically, through experimentation and technologically, making the same mistakes that eventually ruined the culture of Atlantis, which was much higher in a cosmic technological sense than we are now. We are unfortunately going down that same rabbit hole by making the mistakes of thinking that because science makes things available, we can simply go in a direction that may not be good for us, but it looks like we're exploring something that has great possibility. We need to curtail that kind of understanding and only move towards things that help create a unified field that creates something that's good for everybody. And we're not quite there yet. And we're at the verge, hopefully because of the astrological changes, the astrological potentialities, we are once again at that point where we can make strides, we can zoom forward in understanding the new earth that you mentioned is already here, which we completely, totally agree with. We just need to recognize that if we tweak our perspective, if we tweak how we do what we do, we're already creating what we're looking for. It's here, it's now, but we have to step away from things that don't support it.
So why is the mind so destructive and the heart so expansive? What's the, what about the integration of both aspects of the human experience? Would that be a fair balance, or do we just purely need to live from the heart? Like in Drunvalo Melchizedek's books, Living from the Heart, is that what we're aiming towards?
Well, I think that is a great question, first of all. And I think in order to answer that, it's a complex question. I think the simplest thing I can say, and I know Pia will have something else to contribute, is the mind was never designed to direct us. The mind was designed to help us survive, to help us figure things out that the heart is showing us is pushing or pulling us in the right direction in itself. The mind wasn't designed to make decisions. The heart was designed to make decisions, to use its wisdom. The heart has all the wisdom that we need. We have everything in our hearts that we could possibly learn, either in a university setting or through books or in any other form. We innately know what we know through the heart. It's our connection to source. It's our connection to the universe. However, the mind would like to control what we're doing because it thinks it's in charge. Go ahead, Pia.
To add to what you just so brilliantly said, the emphasis on the heart right now is specifically to bring us back into balance so the mind and heart can work together as intended. But in order to do that, we have to get away from what Cullen has termed bad training, because we've been trained that the mind is all that matters. Consciousness is in the mind. What you think is all that matters. Your thoughts control everything. Well, it's true, thoughts do have energy that projects outward to help create the physical manifestation, but those thoughts are not being guided by the heart. Those thoughts at this point in human consciousness are on a treadmill of things we have been trained improperly to believe. So we have to get rid of our belief systems. We have to let go of the bad training, and we have to open to the intuition, because that's how the heart speaks to the mind, through the intuition saying, here, try this. That's what needs to happen.
So what does a heart-centered technology look like? And I'll give you an example. Like in the last episodes of Cosmic Conversations, we've been exploring the benefits of plant-based medicine for healing trauma and for connecting up to our galactic families. Now, would you say that, the using things like ayahuasca or mushrooms or other plant-based hallucinogens could be a better form of technology?
You first.
Well, I am a great believer or supporter of anything that we use, anything we take into the body that can hopefully be natural. So from that basis, I think natural substances, hallucinogenic or not, are much better than any pharmaceutical substance that's been created artificially to try to help us grow, heal, or rebalance. There are several theories at this point about the use of hallucinogens. Some people believe that we should rely on hallucinogens to replace pharmaceutical substances as much as possible. And in some cases, I think that's absolutely correct. However, many people who try hallucinogenic material and have an alternate experience that opens them up can create a situation of habituation, of wanting to be in another reality all of the time. And that isn't really the true reason for plant medicine. Plant medicine is here to open us up, to give us a boost, to allow us to see from a different perspective. But it's not here as a playground for recreational use. And Pia and I have seen over the years, so many people, once they begin using plant-based medicine, they become embroiled and addicted to wanting to be there all the time. And they lose sight of why they started in the first place. So on the one hand, hallucinogenic material can be amazingly expansive. It can open up vistas that we might have taken many, many lifetimes to get to that position of a vibrational, energetic advancement. However, it can also step us back by creating an artificial crutch of, as I said before, wanting to be there all the time, which doesn't really help us in the long run.
That's the word I was going to use, crutch. Thank you. So using it as a crutch, saying I'm going to use this and lean on this to get where I want to go, is not doing your own work. And my answer to what Cullen just addressed on all levels, my short answer is it depends on the person. If the person has been doing their own spiritual work and is deeply involved in revealing their shadows, changing their habit patterns, clearing their karma, really all of those things, and is ready to receive the assistance from the plant kingdom, it can be a very positive benefit. If the person just says, oh, that's too hard, let me go do this the easy way, that's not taking responsibility for your own spiritual growth.
They're bypassing a very valuable growth step by integrating, and we love to talk about integration, as you know, because of the importance of the 13th energy. If people don't integrate what they're learning, they're bypassing the goodness of what they're trying to accomplish. And if someone continues to use a hallucinogenic material over and over again, are they spending any time in integration, learning what is most important for them to understand? Or are they simply just flying high, doing it again and again and again? And I know I sound like a broken record here, but I think it's really important because hallucinogenic journeys have become one of the glamour, one of the must-do things now in society worldwide. And frankly, I think it's a little bit overdone. And I can tell you personally, and the listeners to us, I have been involved in hallucinogens. My background is medical anthropology and archaeology. I studied hallucinogenic material and shamanic medicine starting back as long as 50 years ago. And I believe personally that plant medicine can be a wonderful adjunct to spiritual growth. I would never say it's not a good thing. But at the same time, I would say, be careful how you use it because it's so powerful.
And be responsible.
And one other thing I want to add, because this is a pretty important topic that you've brought up, our Pleiadian friends Larkmont also have an idea about this. And they have explained to us, both Pia and me and the public, that when plant medicine was so important in the natural world thousands and thousands of years ago, eons ago, the energies were different than they are now. What humanity knew then compared to what humanity knows now is a completely different picture. And so using an ancient technique to try to further spiritual evolvement now is much different than it was all of those years ago. And that is a possible cautionary understanding of sometimes we need to invent new things rather than relying on simply old things that may have worked well once that may not be appropriate in the now moment.
I guess that, that the integration aspect of that is really, really important. I totally agree. And I think that what I was sort of gearing at was the, how, like, if there would be some way of being able to merge the wisdom of properly used plant-based medicine with technology, to create more of a heart-centered approach to to move us away a little bit from those mind techniques. So could there be a merging of the energies of plant-based medicine and technology as a way to integrate the mind and the heart, for example?
Well, it's certainly possible that people can come up with new technologies from being in an altered state, but trying to pair it artificially with the technology that exists now and the plant-based medicine may not be a match. What do you think?
Well, I would agree with that, but I think what you're saying, or what you're bringing up, is melding plant intelligence with heart intelligence, creating a better technological world. I think that is smashingly, absolutely appropriate.
I just feel like
we're in a dangerous position right now, Hayden, because so many people are longing for something better. And in that longing, I'll just refer to what Larkma calls the great split. We are in the time of a great split. There is the people who believe in the metaverse, the avatars, all the illusionary things that they can go into in their minds, not their hearts, in their minds to disassociate and disconnect them from the pain they're experiencing now. The opposite of the metaverse is the multiverse, where our consciousness comes through our heart to our mind, blends the two together, and helps us open to the multiple realities that are available to us, all the dimensions. So we're in the position right now of the great split. Do we go deeper into sleep and illusion by clinging to artificial intelligence as it is being presented, an avatar mentality, using all the terms, going into the metaverse, aligning with that specific energy? Or do we reject that and say, that's artificial? No, I want something better. And open spontaneously, with or without plant medicine, to consciousness being able and available to grow and expand into higher technologies, higher consciousness, greater connection.
What I think is a great way of explaining what we're talking about is consciousness is organic. Consciousness is alive. We, Pia and I, don't see artificial intelligence as true living consciousness. We see it as an extension of the mind that thinks it can create something better than our biological nature, of which we're connected not only to nature, but to source. So in our way of understanding and the research we've done, we see a great divide between artificial and natural. And Pia had a really wonderful mentor. I don't know if she wants to call this person a teacher, but Pia worked with a
mentor's good.
Pia worked with a mentor for 20 odd years and had a wonderful relationship. And that mentor told her some long time ago that humanity was going to come to a position where there would be a split between true biological, natural humanity or a movement towards an artificial, technologically controlled humanity. And this person was so far advanced. She was absolutely right. And we have reached that point right now.
She also was the one who imprinted deeply into me that consciousness is not in the brain, it's in the body. And that includes the heart, of course, which is leading the way. But every single cell of our being is conscious. And if they're not communicating properly because of poor diet, poor choices, false beliefs, all that stuff, we're losing access to the greater consciousness that we can have.
Absolutely. So the other aspect of this conversation is, I guess, that we've like, especially back in 2022, we saw a huge awakening taking place across the planet, probably more than at any other time. Right at the beginning of the big C word, and lots of people were starting to recognize that although they were human by birth and by DNA, their souls had come in from various different constellations or galaxies or alternate universes. And so people were really starting to, really be able to anchor in this new concept of the human experience, or the galactic human experience. And, and for many people, the awakening process happens in a very, in multiple small awakenings that, over a period of time. But for other people, it might happen in a sort of a download of information, very, very quickly, which can be quite overwhelming. So around about sort of 5 years ago now, I had my own awakening that took place, where I woke up in the night and I was told that I was from Andromeda, and I knew nothing about Andromeda at the time. Did a heap load of research and realized that the Andromedans are here to help humanity to self-love and to self-accept, and with more self-confidence, and to rediscover their inner wisdom so they can experience life with more freedom, joy, and purpose, and also to live in faith more. So, this was very much the work that I was doing with the Dreamtime Academy, but I hadn't sort of understood the reason why, after I'd been through my, sort of midlife awakening, leaving corporate behind and moving into my celestial work. So, but what's come up for me recently, and I don't know why this is all of a sudden become part of my awareness, is that Andromeda, as far as I know, is a ninth dimensional consciousness, I guess, and that's quite futuristic. So if my soul has come in from Andromeda and it's a future paradigm on the ninth dimension, could it be possible then that my consciousness is artificial intelligence?
I don't think so. I don't.
Go ahead.
Well, what you're bringing up is a really wonderful topic to discuss, because what we've gleaned and learned from our Pleiadian friends, as you have learned and gleaned from your ancestry, is that we are multidimensional beings, and we are simultaneously living other lives in other dimensions right now, in this now moment. And our job as Earth humans with star ancestry, our job is to integrate all of our other experiences that we're simultaneously living in other dimensions. So what we're doing is we're gathering all of the stuff, and I mean stuff, the DNA, the memories, the skills, the gifts. We're collecting all of that as so-called humans here now from all of these other simultaneous experiences. And that is where the wonderful topic of integration comes back into focus, because we're integrating all of that. It's not that we're living past lives, we're living current lives, doing other things, having other experiences. So when we have a sense that we're from Andromeda, or we're from the Pleiades, or we're from Arcturus, it's not a fantasy. It's not something that's a made-up idea. We're actually living that experience in that realm, in that dimension, absolutely as we're living this life now. But our job as conscious developing humans is to realize all of that and bring it together so that we use all of these gifts and talents, all of these experiences, to create the new world that we're simultaneously creating right now.
So the idea that it is your future self probably when we hear those things or we're given that information, it's a way to conceptualize the ninth dimension. Oh, you haven't experienced this yet, but actually it's that you haven't remembered that you are experiencing it right now. So I would say, you're not in the future, Hayden, you're in the now. And you're bringing ninth dimensional information in through the work that you're doing now, just as we bring in various dimensions as are shared with us from various sources in the now. The only instant that matters is the now. We focus too much on the past, history, training, all of that. It doesn't exist. It's all in our head. We focus on the future, what we want to bring in, what we think about. It doesn't exist either. It's all in our head. Only thing that exists is the heart energy, which is the now energy. And the awareness that we have of future or past from our perception is just a perception of experience we're having in another dimension right now.
We are so much bigger than what we have led to believe we are. We encompass everything in the universe, each one of us. We have all the wisdom, all the knowledge, all the experience that has ever happened. We possess that as these humans here on Earth at this time. We have it all. We are so big. We're colossal in our ability to create and to understand a much, much bigger picture. But it's all been dampened down by control situations. It's not just the human patriarchy that's been involved in this. This is a much bigger picture. This has been going on for a much longer time.
So how do we manage to conceptualize all of these different dimensions of consciousness? You know, like how, like for the average person, you know, to be able to fully understand and to be able to process it, like I would say, for, you know, at this moment in time, it would be quite challenging. Maybe, you know, as we evolve, that it might become a lot more understandable. But you know, what can we do to be able to sort of identify with the whole thing instead of just a fraction of it?
Well, I think the answer may not be what your listeners want and your viewers want to hear, but I'm going to share my perspective of that, and Cullen can share his. My idea is that the whole question of how do we conceptualize it automatically tries to compartmentalize it back in the mind again. There's a difference between believing and knowing. Knowing is wisdom. Believing is in the mind. And if you truly want to understand at a deep level, you let go of the belief that you need to conceptualize it. And instead, you open to the knowingness that is possible through just experiencing it. And as you open to the experience of, wow, what was that? I've never had that before. I wonder what that meant. You get a certain knowing because the message comes through. Oh, I need to do this more, or oh, I need to do that more. It comes from the knowing space. It comes through the body, through the heart, through the intuition, and then it properly gets channeled into the mind for action. But if you go the other way around saying, oh, listen to what I just heard, that's interesting, let me put it in the box and try to make it make sense, you're going to leave the possibility of expansion. You want to add to that?
Well, yeah, I think that's brilliant, Pia. And I also think that we have to surrender. And this may sound crazy to many, but I think we have to surrender everything we've learned. Everything we've learned basically has been skewed to control. Mm-hmm. And if we surrender, as Pia has said a number of times today, the belief that we think we know what's going on, or we think we know what the big picture is all about, I think we just have to surrender all of the training, all of the experiences, and just be in what some people call the ground of being, the now moment, the whatever the energy is presenting right now. Just as in this conversation we're having an expansive, hopefully entertaining and fun experience just talking about what we're talking about. We're not considering what went on 10 minutes ago. or what may come in a half an hour from now. We're simply involved in what we're talking about and what we're feeling and sharing at this moment. And I think that is the clue to how to be in the energy of what's happening.
And how to integrate it. Back to that magic word again.
And people are having, because we talk to people worldwide, as you do on a daily basis, people are telling us about these extreme experiences where they're having unbelievable things happen to them that they never would have guessed would happen to them personally or could even be possible. That's showing us that things are rapidly, extremely changing so much that we can't rely on what we thought was real, because what we thought was real happened in a different time. It's no longer relevant to what's happening in this moment. People are being blown away by their intuitive skills. Many people are saying, I never thought I was intuitive, and all of a sudden, I'm getting all these messages. I'm getting all these downloads. I'm seeing things that are unbelievable. I'm seeing physical manifestations of material property that should be solid, but is no longer solid. I'm seeing through things. I'm feeling through things. Humans have never been talking about this before. Only a few people in every era or every epoch have had these connections. People like Leonardo da Vinci or Einstein or Max Planck. I mean, there were a few people in every era that had these wonderful experiences. Now, guess what? It's open to everybody.
That's exactly right. Yeah, and it's so correct. Like the conversations that I've been having with people have become more and more elaborate. You know, the thinning of the veil, and it's almost like the worlds are kind of merging. So light beings have been able to come into the physical space, appear in rooms, and you know, and it's creating a little bit of confusion for a lot of people as well. Like, what would you say to those people that are scared of what they're perceiving now?
I would say that fear is our biggest enemy. It's the opposite of love. The opposite of love is not hate. The opposite of love is fear. And anytime there is something that is scary, it's time to feel what you feel about it. Are you scared because it doesn't fit in your concepts of the mind? Or are you moving into fear because it's disharmonious from you? You have to feel what it is to know whether you're being guided to run from it or whether you're being guided to open to it.
Yeah, I think the essence of this is just allowing whatever that experience is. Instead of fearing it, maybe if we switch the fear to welcoming it and thinking, well, this may be unfamiliar to me, but does it feel good? If it makes my heart feel that it's welcoming, that it's positive, the fear drops away. But if we come from a point of, well, I don't know what this is, it's different than me, I should be scared, it's not going to allow that experience to fully blossom and bloom and maybe become as important as it could be. So I think Pia's right. We need to realize that we don't need to fear things that are different. We don't need to fear things that we're unaccustomed to. If we open up a little bit, let a little crack happen in the mind, and just be with whatever that is, just for a moment, long enough to think or feel, what is this? Is this something beneficial? Is this something I should walk away from? What does it make me feel like? And if we use that sense of the feeling state, maybe we won't be as frightened, or we won't be as fearful that this could be a wonderful new beginning or a wonderful new experience.
And for those who just simply can't get there with that, Larkma says there's a very, very easy thing that you can do to feel safe. And that is simply the moment you start feeling something unusual is around you, before you even get into fear, all you have to do is say, Only energy of love and light can be around me. Nothing else is allowed in my space. If you're not from love and light, leave. And they will leave if it's not from love and light. They don't like to be in the energy of love. They absolutely feed on the energy of fear.
Or negativity.
So if you're coming from a space of fear and negativity, you're inviting them in if they're not good. If you're coming from a place of love, you're inviting in the good, and the bad is going to run away, just to use dualistic terms.
So we propose that people just try to be as open as possible, even if they've been told, let's say from a religious background, that if something isn't simply from God, or if something isn't God, it's negative or it's dangerous. I think if people can open enough to not fall into that trap of thinking, I've been told I shouldn't go in that direction, that's not a good thing. If they simply look at something with new eyes and a more open heart, they may fall into something that they had no idea could be so absolutely, overwhelmingly wonderful.
I guess a bit of a random question here for you. Are people being taken to the Pleiades for like recolonization, as in their physical form, or is that a misconcept?
Misconcept.
We travel to other realms energetically, not in the physical form. The physical form at this moment is carbon-based and very much aligned with this planet. It's not aligned with what we're turning into, which is a more crystalline form. We're not there yet. We are transitioning into a more crystalline light-filled form. But right now, we are carbon-based, and we do not travel to other places physically. We may have an energetic experience that our minds interpret as a physical trip, but that's an interpretation. That's not a reality.
Our bodies, unfortunately, are the densest part of our consciousness. Mm-hmm. And to be able to be in a light ship or to be transported to another dimension would absolutely blow up our molecular structure. It's just not possible. We're not, as Pia said, we're not evolved enough yet from an energetic point of view to be able to sustain that. It just, from our knowledge and from what we get from so many sources, is that we're not there yet.
One thing that I want to say to your listeners is that we love hearing stories of I woke up there and I stopped doing this and I started doing that. We love people's wake up stories. That's what we're here to do, is support waking up. Cullen and I are a bit unusual in that we've been awake since we were born. We have had what we call parallel life memory of things going in perceived past and in projected future. We know they're happening right now, and we have access to them because we've integrated them into who we are. And I just want to go on the camera to say, I am very honored to be able to participate in a heart-opening conversation like this with you, Hayden. I'm also very privileged to share my life with the most brilliant person I've ever known, who has perspectives that have helped open me and who is accepting of my perspectives to bounce things off of each other and to be able to blend and merge any third dimensional ideas we have with the cosmic wisdom that we brought here. So we offer ourselves in service, having walked away from our third dimensional jobs a long time ago, because this is the work. This is the importance right now, helping people to do exactly what we're talking about. Open to the heart. Let the heart lead the mind. Open to expansive experiences. Raise your consciousness. Get your vibration up into more light. All of these things are the real work. And I'm so honored to, if I have to be in the third dimension, which apparently I chose to be here with Cullen, because he understands what I understand, teaches me things I don't understand, accepts things that I understand that may be a different perspective for him. And we blend our energies together and bring them to the world through conversations like this with great interviewers like you.
I have one tiny thing to add to that. Pia and I have a joke. when we came to this world, we didn't get the forget shot that people get so that they can have a new experience and to grow and to learn what they came here to learn and to teach. Pia and I, apparently, either we were running around avoiding the shot, or we don't know why we didn't get it, but from early childhood, we remembered everything from our previous experiences. Just a short, tiny piece of this is I realized as a small child, I could be anywhere, anytime I wanted, simply by thinking about it. And I could simultaneously be in Hong Kong, London, New York, Sydney, the Pleiades, Bangkok, Arcturus. I had a game when I was a little tiny being, a small child, of bouncing around from all of those places because I simply knew I could do it.
And what I brought in that I remembered so clearly is that love is the highest force in the universe. And I was deeply puzzled as I stepped deeper into the third dimensional reality about why everybody put limitations on love and expectations. Oh, if I really love you, then I expect this from you. There was no understanding in my environment at all of what it is to be truly unconditionally loving, where you are honored and respected for who you are and you accept others for who they are. And that has been something I've been trying to bring to the world for my entire existence on this planet. So together with what we brought in and what we remember, it's great when we have conversations like this and we can share these things with your viewers.
Well, what does a heart-based technology look like then? You know, you've got Cullen there on one hand, who, you know, has obviously been traveling in his light body all across the universe and parallel universes as well his entire life. And you, that is a master of the divine feminine and love. You know, how do we blend those two worlds together to create a heartfelt technology? What does it actually look like if it's not going to be artificial intelligence? And it's not, well, it's not that it won't be artificial intelligence. What's an alternative to that? What does it actually look like?
Well, I think the simplest way to answer that or explain that is the technology has to be designed for the highest good of all.
You just took the words right away from me. That's exactly what I was going to say. As the very first point of starting is that every choice has to come from the highest good for all. And that means eliminating this idea of hierarchy and competition.
Right now, our current technology is only aimed at supporting the elite of the population. It's truly only designed through greed and avarice to make more money or more power or more control for those who do control technology. The switch that needs to happen, whether we couch that in heart-based technology or simply a different technology than what we're involved with right now, we have to step away from why are people developing technology? What is the race? In science and medicine today, what is the impetus? What really is the guiding force? And I have to answer my own question. It's power. And that power comes through either greed or the accumulation of more and more and more money. What has to happen with the new technology, the new earth, the new heart-based technology, is stepping away from that old paradigm of the person who has the most power controls whatever's going on. And unfortunately, that is the direction technology has been going for a very, very long time. I would say since about the end of World War II, several generations, it's been motivated by this corporation or this person wants to be more powerful than the next person. And I could give our audience an amazing laundry list of people who are involved in that. And I don't want to use personal names or smear people, but there are people at the top of the technological world that are household names. I mean, there are people in medicine, there are people in IT, There are people in aeronautics. There are people in many different aspects of technology who are doing it because they want to be more powerful than the next guy or the next woman. We have to step away from that and create technology that helps everyone. And by helping everyone, I'm saying making a better world, not a more technical world, not a more regulated world.
And if we achieve that, we will accelerate into the more advanced technology organically, in alignment with the cosmos, in alignment with nature, with the base principle being, what can we create that's for the highest good for everyone? And that doesn't just include animals and plants and humans and rocks. It's not just highest good of all for people. It's highest good of all for everything. What benefits the planet? What benefits the animals? What helps the plants to grow? What benefits us, our community, and the people across the other side of the world that we consider so different from us? What benefits everyone?
And there's a possibility, I mean, I know we're throwing a lot of information out here very quickly, but there's a possibility when we as humanity actually grow up, and I mean that seriously, when we actually grow up spiritually, maybe our star brothers and sisters, friends and relatives, when they see that we're responsible enough, will share their technology with us. And if we can meld their technology, which is absolutely heart-based, and our technology, then we can really fly somewhere together.
But how do we make that shift from such an entrenched paradigm, such an entrenched system of doing things? How, is it down to the individual? I mean, do we have to, is it the power has to come away from the corporate enterprises?
It starts with each individual, and the dismantling comes from examining every single belief you hold.
And every choice.
And then every choice
we make. It absolutely starts at home. It starts with each individual. We need to stand up individually first and then collectively and say no to things that we know aren't right, that our hearts tell us, this doesn't feel good. This isn't an egalitarian decision. This isn't for the highest good. This isn't working towards a beautiful, harmonious, unified world that we're trying to create. And yes, it has to happen at the corporate level also, because the corporate level is part of the controlling issue that I was talking about a few moments ago. Corporations are so powerful. Corporations change the way people think. Advertising is so influential in what people do, what the decisions we make, not just the kind of toothpaste we buy or the kind of car we buy or the kind of clothing we choose. It's about everything. The corporate advertising technology, and it is a technology, at this point controls the decisions people make. And we can see that all through social networking, social media. The corporations know exactly who we are, where we live, what we buy, what we like,
and how they can control us.
They know the particular kind of detergent we buy to wash our clothes because our clothes want to smell a certain way. They know everything about us, and they do everything they can do to be sure that we buy the things they want us to buy, because it's all about money in their paradigm system.
So that paradigm absolutely has to fall apart. And the way we do that is starting one step at a time, looking at our belief system, making our choices conscious, and remembering to align every single choice we make, including the thoughts we think. Is this aligned with the highest good for all? Those are the simple steps.
And that's basically what our Pleiadian friends Larkma are here to. I don't like to use the word teach. I would say share. They are here to share what we're talking about right now in this conversation. We're all in this together. We're either going to make it as a unified field, or we're going to recreate an Atlantis or another situation that we've gone through previously. The Pleiadian perspective is love is the highest energy in the universe, and we have to work together to create a harmonious world.
The Pleiadians have given us 4 books that have come through us, that we've written through what they have given us. The Wisdom from the Stars trilogy is the first, the trilogy of books that they gave us first, and then they gave us the 4th book, which is Pleiadian Earth Energy Astrology, shifting our focus away from time, which is artificial and illusionary, to energy, which is real and our real navigational point. And then Cullen came up with the idea of let's do a calendar to support people's understanding, guide your life through energy instead of time, which is why we talked about the calendar earlier. And our latest thing that the Pleiadians have done through Cullen's inspiration, let's do this, this would be fun, is we did a card deck with all the Pleiadian wisdom. We have beautiful images that are aligned with nature and the cosmos, and each card has not only an energetic value explained in the guidebook, but it also has a Pleiadian message. So you can either do a spread layout if you're into doing that with oracle cards, or you can simply close your eyes, reach into the deck, and feel which card is your guidance for the day. And you'll find things about healing, relationships, returning to nature, technology questions, manifestation, how do I manifest, what is my purpose? All of those answers are in there, and you can be guided on a daily basis of how to move more energetically into what you're here to do.
The reason that the card deck we think is important is because everything in society has become sped up. Everybody is moving faster. People's attention spans are shortening, and people don't take the time to read books as much as they used to. People don't take time to look at a calendar of the kind of calendar we've designed as deeply as they could because they're in a hurry. The card deck has, as Pia said, it has all the wisdom of all the books, the calendar, all of the lectures, all of the information that the Pleiadians have brought to humanity for these 2 decades that we've been doing this work. The card deck is a fast track way of gaining the wisdom and the knowledge almost instantaneously. And we think people need that because everybody's too busy. There aren't enough hours in the day to accomplish everything everybody wants to do. So we hope that the card deck will bring the information and the wisdom and the guidance to people in a way that they can very quickly access it without spending as much time as they would reading a book or doing something that's more time consuming.
All of these things your viewers can find on our website, which is LARKMA, LAARKMAA, larkma.com. All of the services that we offer, the personal sessions, the products that we've been talking about, it's everything that we have to give is right there for people to choose from. What do I need right this minute? How can I be helped at this moment?
So they're like reminders to keep us more accountable for our actions at any given moment in time, because I think that's the shift that needs to take place. Instead of us, moving around in this dream spell, as you call it, we become more conscious that maybe what we're being fed through technology is controlling us, and there are alternative ways to feel and alternative options to choose, and that we don't have to just go along with the masses. I think that's
absolutely,
isn't it?
I think you have just very concisely explained the entire topic of our discussion today and what you just brought up.
Good summarization.
I think that's exactly what humans need to do at this point.
Absolutely. That's fascinating. What an interesting conversation that we've had today, based around, the energies that are coming through from total solar eclipse to the integration of, technology, plant-based medicines, astrology, the rule of 13, and being more present in the now moment, along with the whole topic of integration as well. So it's been amazing once again to catch up with you. Do you have any further inspirations to add to everybody that is watching now?
Well, I would just like to conclude the next 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, 12 months, I think are going to bring us absolutely fantastic opportunities that humanity has never, ever experienced before. I think the openings, the possibilities, the wisdom, the actual material that we need to really move forward, to really advance, are going to become available, whether we see it from, as you said a moment ago, astrologically, astronomically, from the cosmos, from the sun. It doesn't matter where this information or this energy is coming from, but combined, it's going to be a very powerful game changer. And I think we need to trust and be assured that things are going to change in a much more positive way than we've seen in the past 3, 5, 7-year cycles and patterns. I think we're ready, and I think we're being given opportunities that are going to not only surprise us, please us, and really help us move forward.
Sounds blissful, doesn't it?
It does.
Bring it on. Bring it on.
With a big bliss in the face of all the challenges we're experiencing, all of us.
Wonderful. What about you, Pia? Is there anything that you'd like to conclude with?
I would just tell people not to give up on trusting that everything is unfolding, and just do your part to continue opening your heart. Just keep trusting and opening your heart moment by moment, choice by choice, because we are in a birthing process. We are becoming who we truly are. And all births have a little bit of challenge and a little bit of pain in the process. So just keep trusting, keep opening your heart, and we're going to get there together.
Wonderful. Well, once again, thank you so much, Pia and Cullen, for your guided, inspirational conversation today. I've absolutely loved it. I can't wait until our next catch up. Who knows, in maybe a couple of years' time.
Thank you, Hayden.
Yeah, we love our conversations with you. I said this at the beginning, they're organic, they're provocative, and I think they're essentially helpful. I think sharing these combined ideas, these combined theories, these combined philosophies is enormously helpful to everybody listening, because there's so much information out there, and all of it may not really be the best information. And I think when we can bring possibly very truthful and very inspiring information, I think it helps everyone.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. Brilliant.
So we'll see you in love today.
Absolutely. Brilliant. Well, thanks again, you two. God bless you.
All right.
Thank you, Hayden.
I look forward to our next conversation.
Same here. All right. Bye for now.
Bye-bye for now.